You're about to become the type of person who does not let their emotions get the best of them. You're going to transition from being chaotic and reactive to confident and calm. After entirely watching this video and applying what I share with you, your emotions will not determine how you act, how other people see you, and they also won't have a negative impact on your relationships either. You will no longer be a slave to your emotions. Instead, you will learn to react to them in a classy, healthy, and mature way. Just make sure to watch until the end of the video because that's where I'll be sharing with you the best techniques to ground and calm your emotions without fail. Having emotional intelligence in simple words is simply your ability to manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. It's your ability to choose how you will react to your emotions and the emotions other people project onto you when they're most intense and when they're most vulnerable. Emotional intelligence is when you feel angry, yet you choose to not take it out on someone despite the anger that you're feeling. It's when you miss someone you shouldn't be missing and you still don't reach out to them despite missing them. And it's also when you're feeling bored because yes, boredom is an emotion, and instead of drinking or scrolling away for hours, you decide to do something productive instead. It's when you feel a strong or simple urge and you don't immediately react to it. The other aspect of being emotionally intelligent is not allowing other people's emotions to negatively affect you. It's knowing how to manage other people's emotions towards you. Like when someone cuts you off when you're driving or when someone says something that offends you. Instead of lashing out and feeling like your entire day was ruined, or instead of victimizing yourself, you reserve your energy by being the bigger person and by walking away. And this doesn't mean that you're going to tolerate disrespect or that you're not going to speak up for yourself. It just means that you're not going to engage in an argument with someone who won't understand and who doesn't care about a resolution. Being emotionally mature is also being able to take accountability. What if you were the one that said something offensive to someone that then triggers that person to say something offensive back to you? Would you be able to take accountability then when you're in the wrong, or would your pride and ego take over? Emotional intelligence is not about being emotionless or avoiding your feelings. This is not about numbing yourself, shutting down, suppressing how you feel, or neglecting your feelings. Those are actually signs that you lack emotional intelligence, because an emotionally mature person knows that processing their feelings in a healthy way is just as important as not reacting to them. And I'll be giving you 5 techniques in how to properly process and manage your emotions in a healthy, mature, and classy way very soon. But just know that emotional intelligence is about knowing what's worth your energy and knowing how to process uncomfortable emotions. Simply put, it's about not allowing your emotions dictate your actions and your feelings. Let's first briefly talk about why having emotional intelligence even matters in the first place. When your emotions control you, you can lose people's respect for you. You can lose the way in which they see you. Because if you're the type of person to quickly lose it when something doesn't go their way, you're gonna come off as immature. Emotional intelligence matters because you can literally ruin good loving relationships with people that you really care about over insignificant arguments just because you didn't know how to handle your emotions or you didn't know how to communicate effectively. You end up not talking to them again or saying really mean things to each other. And you can also feel as if you don't have control over yourself. You might scream at your kids or say really rude things to someone even though you don't mean them. Again, simply because you don't know how to manage your own emotions. Another very important aspect of why emotional intelligence matters so much, it's because it affects your mental health. If you're feeling sad, depressed, and low energy most of the time, you're not going to be operating at your best. And that extends to everything else in your life, your career, your love life, your friendships, the actions that you take. You'll be walking around with a gray cloud over your head, or at least it'll feel that way. But this is all very normal as humans that we are. We are all emotional beings. You just have to understand that your emotions are literally there just to teach you something. They are our biggest teachers. And I'm here to help you better understand them and better navigate through them. Let's dive into 5 in-depth and practical ways in which you are going to better manage manage and understand your emotions. Just remember that when you're in the heat of the moment and you need a reminder and you need to bring yourself back to that awareness, come back to this video and watch this part of the video, because this is something that you're going to need to actively practice. And believe me, if I learned to manage my emotions, so can you. I mean, literally, I was a complete firecracker, and I still am. I just learned to tame the fire within me. We had to take a quick hydrating sip because this is about to be revolutionary. Okay, let's dive in. The first step is to bring awareness to your feelings. You can't fix something or heal something before first becoming aware of it. To become aware of your feelings and of your triggers, you can either talk about it with a friend, or you can, of course, as I always like to say in almost every video, you can journal about it. Why do you feel triggered? Why do you feel that emotion? Start by recognizing that you are actively feeling that negative emotion and label these emotions. Identify them. Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling jealousy or frustration? And then go beneath the surface from there. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Is this emotion just from this moment, or is it from a past wound? Could it be a core wound? Most of the time, the reason why we become so reactive to certain conversations, what someone says or does to us, it is because it is tied to something that happened to us in our past, whether it's our childhood or something that we experienced in the past that was traumatic. For example, I had a friendship wound where I would constantly feel unincluded by my ex-best friend. When my current best friend and I started getting closer, and mind you, she is nothing thank God, like my ex-best friend, there were times where this abandonment wound would come up. There were times where my current best friend would make certain plans with other people, and she wouldn't always invite me. She would for the majority of the time, but there were times where she would not. And in this time that she would not plan me, because I have this inner wound, I would take it as, oh, I must not be liked or wanted around. She probably doesn't want to invite me. And I would just feel jealous, which would then literally lead to us having arguments over something that I was just being reactive about. It's not that she was not including me, it's just that she doesn't need to invite me to every single thing that she plans. And that's okay. I also have certain friend groups or certain things that I want to do where she doesn't have to be there. But I didn't understand this then. Since my ex-best friend would always make me feel excluded and left out, I thought that this was what was happening with my current best friend, which was not the case at all. So when this feeling of jealousy would come up, I started reflecting on it. And I'm blessed enough to have a best friend that worked with me through my triggers, through my wounds. So we would also talk it out, but I also worked on this myself through journaling. So in bringing in awareness and diving in deeper into why I felt this way, why I felt triggered, I realized that it stemmed from that past wound. I asked myself, why do I feel jealous? Why do I feel excluded? I asked myself, where and when have I felt this way before? And when I asked myself that, I remembered, oh, my ex-best friend used to always make me feel this way. And even if it's not from a past wound, try to figure out why you feel this way. Did you feel offended by what someone said because you feel like they're judging you outside of your character, outside of what you consider yourself to be? Like if someone says that you're an inconsiderate person, when you know that you're usually very thoughtful and considerate of other people's feelings, maybe the root cause of that is just that you were feeling irritated, that you were feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you weren't having a good day and that's why you came off as inconsiderate. Just figure out what that trigger is trying to tell you, because again, your emotions, your feelings, your triggers are just there to teach you and tell you something. Maybe it is a past wound that you still haven't healed and that you need to work on. Maybe it's just that you are exhausted and tired and you need time to isolate yourself. Either way, there is a message for you to look at. Since we've talked about your triggers and labeling your emotions, I want to dive in even deeper into how your emotions are your teachers. When you feel unmotivated and discouraged to go to work every single day, when you feel unhappy to be at work every single day, it could very likely be that your emotions are trying to tell you that that is not the place where you should be, that you don't have purpose there, and that you need to be somewhere where you feel connected to, where you feel more alive. It's your emotions' way of telling you to follow your passions, to do what will bring you joy. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's content creation. Maybe it's teaching. Maybe you really like to sing, or you're a really good writer, or whatever it is for you. The thing is that as humans, we do not like change, and we typically only move through discomfort. When you feel uncomfortable, you are more likely to do something different. So look at everything that you feel as your body's way to communicate with you. Maybe you feel nervous, anxious, unseen, or drained after hanging out with a certain person. And maybe this person is toxic. Maybe this person is negative, and maybe this is someone that shouldn't be in your circle. Or let's say that you feel guilty and that you feel bad after having a one-night stand, or after saying something mean to someone. Even this has a message for you. Maybe the message is that having meaningless, connectionless intimacy is not for you, because you're the type of person that needs connection, that needs to feel a bond with that person before giving their body to them. And that guilt that you felt after saying something mean is trying to tell you that maybe you should go and apologize to that person you offended, because you know you're not this rude monster of a person. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to communicate to me? Now that you know that your feelings are just trying to communicate with you, you also need to hold space for them. You need to sit with and go through your emotions. This is how you avoid suppression, avoidance, and buildup of your emotions. I feel like if people took this more seriously and actually processed their emotions, connecting with other people would be so much easier. But that's the thing. People prefer to numb themselves and to shove their emotions under the rug instead of facing them, because it's just too uncomfortable to do that. It's too uncomfortable to sit with loneliness, to sit with that pain, with that trigger, with that wound, with that sadness, with that grief. But not you. You will do the uncomfortable, because it's how you're going to open your heart and free yourself. Sitting with your emotions is basically everything I'm describing in these 5 steps. Essentially, you want to allow the discomfort, the anger, the unfairness, the jealousy run through you, even if just for a minute. I like to use I feel statements when I'm sitting with my emotions. Right now, I feel misunderstood and I feel unseen. I feel hurt and betrayed. I feel unsupported and alone. And this is more than just labeling your emotions, because you can say, I am angry right now, and then carry that same anger all throughout your day. You can write down that you feel sad right now and carry that sadness for the rest of the week, and that's not the point. When you actually sit with your emotions, you then heal it and you then release it. Start off by accepting that feeling and try writing things this way to better embody that feeling of acceptance. You can write something like, I feel angry right now because of how she said that to me, but that doesn't make it true. I feel unheard and unseen by my partner right now because he doesn't understand or see my perspective and my point of view. But maybe we can have this conversation later with a different approach. This would be a really great time to use the pause and breathing technique, because it would give you a quick moment to shift your energy, to shift your perspective. But I'll tell you more about this technique in step number 5. And the last thing that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to processing your emotions is that you then want to be able to get up and go on about your day. Again, go back to releasing it, to letting it go. After I sit with my emotions, I do my very best to not let that affect and carry on through the rest of the day. Because if you keep allowing it to get the best of you, then you're giving your power away, and that's not what you want to do. Whenever it is possible, I always suggest that you try talking things out. Whether it's with the person that you had the disagreement, whether it's venting to your best friend, whether it's venting to a therapist. But if you can't have an open and mature conversation with the person involved, then just find a different outlet to release this. Talk to someone that you trust, and when you go into that conversation, have an open mind. Be open to a different perspective, not to just be stuck on your own way of looking at things and feeling about the situation. You can also free write, where you write down everything that is in your head without overthinking about how you sound or what you're writing. Just let it all out. And you could also technically kind of talk to yourself about it, but the thing with this method is that you're only listening and viewing your own perspective on the situation. So it's not impossible, because I personally do talk myself through it. I talk to myself first, but that's also because I have very high self-awareness, and because when I talk to myself, I do it with the intention to shift my point of view, to get out of that state, not to fuel it, not to validate my negative low emotion. The point of all of this is to assist you in not shutting down and in not suppressing your feelings. You can take all of the time and all of the space that you need to process, but voicing yourself is just as important as taking a moment to yourself. You need to know that how you feel matters, yet all at the same time being able to just let things be. This is using the let them theory. If someone doesn't want to communicate with you, if they don't want to be there for you or understand you, if they don't want to do better for you, if they don't want to change for you, you let them be who they're going to be. Even that stranger that pisses you off in public, let them. That's their problem. That's their own issues that they have going on. Because again, you need to know where your energy is worth pouring into. In the moment of the heat, as I like to call it, or in that moment when you're feeling those intense emotions burning through your blood, and when you feel like you're on the verge of losing it, or you don't know how to calm yourself down, try these soothing methods. The first method is the pause method. When you feel triggered, take a 3 to 5 second pause before you react. Pausing is one of the most effective things that you can do because it interrupts the autopilot emotional reaction that you're in, and it gives your rational mind time to catch up instead. Try replacing react fast with pause and choose. This is a method that I use all the time with people that are pissing me off through text. I take a quick split second to pause and just recognize that I'm feeling an intense emotion before I respond, and then I choose how I'm going to respond. Am I going to respond from that intense emotion, let's say like anger, and curse them out? Or am I going to sort of just, okay, I see how you feel. We'll talk about this later. You know what I mean? With the pause comes the breathing method. If the pause is not enough to shift your energy, then use breath work to regulate and calm yourself. There are a lot of great breathing techniques, but I'm going to be sharing with you one that I use all of the time and that I know works like a charm. It's called the 4 count or box breathing technique. It's when you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. And when you exhale, hold it again for 4 more seconds. And then you just want to repeat this as many times as you need to. I typically only do 4 rounds, and literally it instantly tells my nervous system that I'm safe and that I can calm down. Just give it a try and you will see. The third technique, and one of my absolute favorites, is calling your power back. This may sound kind of simple, but man, does it hold power. When you feel like someone or something is taking too much of your energy, whether emotionally or mentally, use mantras to call back your power. You can say something like, I now call back my energy that I have given consciously or unconsciously through my emotions, thoughts, and spirit. May this energy come back to me 10 times stronger, loving, and lighter. The way to make these mantras really be effective and for them to actually work is to use them with what you're going through specifically in that moment. For example, let's say that you are feeling frustrated with a person. You can say something like, I now call back my energy from Daniel and I release the hurt that he has caused me. Oof, that is powerful. Or let's say that you're feeling worried about your finances. You can say something like, I do not need to chase money. I always receive an abundant flow of money. I release my worries and remain open. What this does is that it instantly changes the narrative and the energy around how you currently feel. It's calling back your power, your energy that you gave away through that intense emotion. Another technique that I find very helpful and powerful is observing your emotions. It's becoming the observer. When your emotions come by, take the passenger seat. I mean, literally, imagine yourself in a car, and instead of you being the driver and maybe swerving and wrecking the car, just be the calm observer. Don't identify as that emotion, because you are not your emotions, just as you're not your thoughts. What you're going to do is that you're going to look at your emotions from a third person. Look at Annie feeling desperate right now. Annie feels jealous right now. She's feeling out of control, and I can see that. Look at her behavior. Look at how she's acting. She's not being herself right now because she's feeling hurt. You basically want to observe yourself from the back and watch how you're feeling and how you're reacting, and call yourself out for it, because this is going to help you bring awareness and shift your energy. Just please tell me you're going to be giving these techniques a try, because they truly do work. They're too good, I'm telling you, because I've used them. I'm not just like making stuff up here. Just remember that they're meant to be used repeatedly, not just one time. So maybe stick with 1 or 2 practices for some time and see how well it works for you, and then try another one if you feel like that certain technique wasn't as good. And the last technique is to stop enhancing your negative emotions. If you're anything like I used to be, you probably romanticize your negative emotions. And I think that a lot of us do this and we don't even know it. Let me ask you this. when you feel sad, do you tend to put on sad music to make the moment even more sadder? Because this is actually a thing. We do this because we seek comfort and we seek understanding. It's a way to validate our feelings. When you put that sad music on, or when you keep negatively talking about the problem, like nagging about it or complaining about it, you feel validated, like, yeah, you see, I feel angry and I should be feeling angry, and I feel sad and like, yeah, like I should be sad right now. You're enhancing it, and you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Because yes, while it's okay to feel and process your emotions, as I've explained all throughout this video, it's also just as important or more important not to hold on to them, not to fuel them. Two negatives don't make a positive, right? So in that moment that you feel like that, again, go back to healthier outlets. Maybe instead you put positive, uplifting music instead of listening to depressing music, or engaging in something that will lower your vibration even more, like drinking, like smoking, like self-sabotaging yourself. You don't have to do something reckless to feel like your feelings are valid. They are valid. You just need to find a healthier way to process them. This is the moment in which you ground yourself and put into practice all of the amazing techniques and tips that I've just shared with you. Come on. You got this. Okay, my love, let me know down in the comments below which emotion you personally feel like you struggle with the most. For me, it was certainly anger. I genuinely salute those that grew with me, because my anger used to literally take the best of me, but not anymore. At least not all of the time. I'm telling you that if you're able to become more emotionally intelligent, your relationships will dramatically improve. Your overall patience in life with achieving your goals, with waiting in line, with whatever, the big and simple things, will strengthen. And overall, you won't feel consumed and controlled by your emotions. Because think about it, every single thing in our lives require patience. You need patience with manifesting your dream life. You need patience with becoming a better version of yourself. You need patience with your loved ones. You need patience while you're driving. And patience is an emotion. It's a feeling. So when you're able to master your emotions, everything feels easier and lighter. All right, my love. Until the next one. Mwah. See ya.